This is the Range Rover Velar and this is the Volvo XC60, two premium compact SUVs. Both of these thoroughly European brands are in the hands of Asian giants since 2008 and 2010 respectively. The Range Rover is now shifting upmarket towards the luxury segment, while the Volvo is your entry-level premium brand. And this is reflected in the price of both of these vehicles, but is the price difference justified? Let's find out. You can find reviews of both of these cars on my channel. Links are in the video description below. If you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell icon to receive notifications about new reviews and comparisons. Channel members get access to early new reviews weeks and sometimes even months in advance. And it's ad-free, so if ads piss you off, there's always an alternative. In this video I'll compare design, boot space, rear seats, cockpits, comfort, ride and handling, as well as all-wheel drive capabilities. Let's crack on! Both models debuted in 2017 and have since undergone subtle exterior and interior changes. Both brands spend modestly where they can, as they aren't the biggest players globally. New powertrain development is expensive. It's worth noting that Volvo sells many times more XC60s than Land Rover does Velars. Both SUVs have similar dimensions. The Velar is a few centimeters longer and significantly wider than the XC60, but this doesn't necessarily translate into interior space. Range Rover Velar is probably the first car I've reviewed which featured retractable door handles. This unfortunate trend later spread to other brands, including Jaguar I-Pace. As you can probably tell, I'm not a fan of retractable door handles, but I understand that in the pursuit of efficiency, manufacturers are doing everything they can to improve aerodynamics of their models. Besides that, both cars feature rather understated design. They're elegant vehicles for people who don't need to emphasize what car they are driving with an illuminated grille. What do you think of them? Which one do you like better? Or maybe you'd rather have a car that screams its brand from a mile away? Leave me a comment, and if you find these comparisons useful, be sure to watch until the end, because these days this is what YouTube likes. And when YouTube's happy, I'm happy, and I can make more reviews and comparisons. This episode is brought to you by 3W Liners. This package has just arrived and it contains mats specifically designed for the VW Tiguan featured here. Even before I open the box, I'm already liking what I'm seeing. This is not some cheap crumpled cardboard that's been eaten by a goat and then sent out to the customer. This looks premium. So let's see what's inside. Right off the bat, I can see this is the kind of stuff I'd like to have in my car. Textile carpets are nice for a few days when you leave the showroom, but then life happens and there's always muck all over them and usually underneath the mats as well. Meanwhile, 3W liners go further up the footwells, so whatever dirt, dry or wet, you, your children and pets bring inside, it stays on the mats. This makes it easier to vacuum or simply take out without the risk of spilling it all over the car floor. When you buy 3W liners, you select your car's make, model and year, so you're getting mats that fit your car perfectly. A perfect fit also means perfect placement, and the anti-slip design on the back side of the mats ensures they are securely in place and don't move about. There are also sockets for factory clips, so no worries about the mats obstructing the pedals or simply moving about and spilling contents on the car floor. 3W liners are made with environmentally friendly premium TPE, that's thermoplastic elastomers, and it's a fancy way of saying it's like the best of plastic and rubber. It can stretch and bend slightly, but it returns to its original shape. That's why the mats fit well and should retain their properties for years. They're also easy to rinse and clean, so you're not going to be replacing them all the time, or rather ever, while you own the car. Durability is what I consider sustainable. While I cannot show this to you on video, you'll have to take my word for it. The 3W liners don't have that cheap plastic smell that some inferior car mats have, so that's another box checked. 3W liners were adamant that I show you their mats in the VW Tiguan, which is a popular SUV, but I ordered a set for my countrymen. So check out 3W liners, use my promo code in the video description. Select your make, model and year and get yourself a set of floor mats that perfectly fit your car and keep its interior clean. From my previous Velar review, I remember having trouble finding the sensor for kick opening of the boot. Now I know it's located just behind the rear wheel. I don't know why. Is parking somehow different in the UK and side access is more convenient than rear access? If you know anything about that, let me know in the comments below. The Velar's boot is only 45 cm high from floor to window line and 68 cm from the floor to the roof line at its highest point. The underfloor storage compartment is irregularly shaped, so I'm not including it. The width is 105 cm and the depth to the second row backrest is 99 cm and 199 cm to the front passenger seat in its forward position. Land Rover states the boot capacity at 748 liters, but JLR specifies the dimensions to the roof, not VDA to the window line. According to my calculations, there's about 450 liters from the floor to the window line. The rear backrest splits 40-20-40. There are levers to fold the backrests, 4 shopping bag hooks, a 12-volt outlet, and buttons for lowering the loading sill and deploying the optional tow hitch. The Velar with the 3-liter diesel can tow up to 2.5 tons, 2,400 kilograms, with the 2-liter diesel. Land Rover somehow managed to design the boot so that when the second row backrests are folded, there is a hump, but it's from the other side than you think. The boot can be closed with a gesture, a button on the remote control, or a button on the tailgate. The Volvo's boot opens normally, which means kicking under the bumper around the center of the car. Now, Volvo may be smaller from the outside than the Velar, but it makes better use of interior space. The boot is 50 centimeters high to the window line and 75 centimeters to the roof line. The underfloor storage is the same as in the Velar, there is no point measuring it. The width is 110 centimeters and the depth to the second row backrest is 97 centimeters and 187 centimeters to the front passenger seat in its forward position. But that's because the passenger seat in the Velar can be moved further forward. According to Volvo, the boot in the XC60 has 483 liters above the floor, and my measurements confirm this. With the second row backrest folded, the Volvo has a relatively flat cargo area, however the backrest only splits 60-40. There are shopping bag hooks and a 12-volt outlet. There are also buttons to lower the loading sill. This test car is not equipped with the electrically deployable tow hitch, but if it were, it could tow up to 2,400 kilograms. Doors cover the sills in the Velar. This car has the optional air suspension which lowers for easy access. The doors open wide. There are door pockets. The backrest angle is electrically adjustable. Isofix anchor points are only in the rear. At first glance it's clear that the Velar is a 5-seater, but mostly on paper. I don't think anyone took the 5th passenger seriously during the design process. The center console extends so far back that instead of legroom for the 3rd passenger, there are practically only knobs for controlling 2 rear climate zones. It's no surprise that there is a 12-volt outlet just above the tunnel. Nobody will kick it because nobody will sit here. USB-C ports are located behind the armrest because it will remain open most of the time. I'm 175 centimeters tall. With the driver's seat set to my driving position, I have 15 centimeters legroom and about 10 centimeters of headroom, with the backrest adjusted as close to vertical as possible. In a more reclined position, I have even more headroom. The seat width is 134 centimeters and at elbow height it's 142 centimeters. In the Volvo XC60, doors also cover the sills. This car also gets the optional air suspension, but even with easy access, getting in and out is made difficult by the optional side steps. Fortunately, they are a standalone option, not a part of some design package. You can just skip them. The doors don't open as wide as in the Velar. The door pockets are tight, ISOFIX anchor points are only in the rear. The backrest angle isn't adjustable, but the seats are reclined more than I'd like them to be. If someone really wants to, they can sit in the middle despite a rather high tunnel. This model has dual-zone climate control in the rear, heated rear seats, and 2 USB-C ports. There's a pass-through to the boot behind the armrest, but you can only open it from the boot side. I'm still 175 centimeters tall, and the driver's seat is still set to my driving position. I have the same legroom as in the Velar, which is 15 centimeters, but despite the more reclined backrest, I have less headroom, at most 9 centimeters. The seat width is 134 centimeters, and at elbow height, it's 145 centimeters. Cars are typically designed for 6 to 8 years with a facelift in the middle, but some brands extend this period, and that's when things get tricky. With the introduction of new features, something has to be done with the interior, which wasn't necessarily designed for them. So, for example, the Velar had 2 displays in the center for a long time, and the top one was primarily used for multimedia and the bottom one was for AC and driving modes. I suspect that was partly due to customer preferences and partly due to hardware capabilities. Today everything can be controlled from this one display here, but because they didn't want to invest in major changes to the cockpit, there's a lot of unused space left. And the storage compartment behind the area where the bottom display used to be is now gone. The infotainment system isn't much different to the previous iterations. The main changes revolve around climate control and drive modes, which are now sliders on the sides of the screen. And they're surprisingly intuitive to use, even though I preferred the old design with multifunction knobs. Quality of the materials is very good, but the cockpit is somewhat dull. Land Rover doesn't offer much in terms of customization options. The driving position is okay-ish, because there is no headrest tilt adjustment, and therefore some drivers may have to recline the seat a bit further. Other than that, there are door pockets, good cup holders, a wireless charger, and next to it, one USB-C port. The other one is in the average size storage compartment under the armrest. The glove box is also medium size. Volvo has better future-proofed itself and adopted a single display, which, after another facelift, has been taken out from inside the dashboard and is now simply attached to it. Over the years, the Volvo operating system has been replaced by Android Automotive. The main advantage of this solution is synchronization with a Google account, which these days probably almost everyone has. This means I don't have to create an additional account, like with JLR, for the car to learn my driving habits or to send planned routes to the car. Unfortunately, if you want to remotely control any of the car's functions, you still need a Volvo account to log in to the app. But at least some of the features will be based on your existing Google account. The front door pockets are spacious. There's a good wireless charger. USB-C ports are located under the armrest. It's a small storage compartment, but the glove box is large. Volvo's simple Scandinavian design lives on almost unchanged since 2015, when the current generation XC90 launched. It's functional and improvements are incremental. I'll admit right off the bat, I couldn't find comparable engine versions for this review, so they would have to be plug-in hybrids, because only then we'd have 2-liter petrol engines in both cars. The Velar isn't offered with a 2-liter petrol, only a 2-liter diesel. Other engines have 6 cylinders, like this D300 inline diesel. It's a mild hybrid, which probably matters for emissions, but it doesn't really matter for performance. The car should use about 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers combined. I'm getting more like 8.5, which is not bad for a 3-liter diesel. It's just off the WLTP mark. On the plus side, the 300 horsepower 3-liter engine has grunt. Merging into traffic or overtaking is no problem, even before I switched the gearbox into sport mode. The suspension is excellent at absorbing bumps as well as stabilizing the car during fast cornering. Furthermore, the soundproofing is excellent, and in models with the fancy expensive audio system like this one, there's also active noise cancellation. ESA can be turned off with 2 clicks of a button on the steering wheel. This switches the driver assistance systems to individual mode. Renault has a similar implementation. The driver assistance systems work well enough, not class-leading but decent. However, visibility is poor, especially around the exceptionally thick A-pillars. Many years ago, Volvo decided it will base its cars on 2-liter 4-cylinder engines. Sure, the engineers can extract high power from them, especially in combination with a plug-in hybrid, but here I have a 2-liter 250 horsepower B5 petrol engine under the bonnet. While the 6-cylinder diesel in the Velar is like an orchestra playing in the Gothenburg concert hall, the 4-cylinder petrol engine in the XC60 is like farm equipment. Only in the M mode of the gearbox, which effectively is the sport mode, and controlling the gears myself, I can feel the power this engine can output. Unfortunately, under normal conditions, it is suppressed by the Eco Nanny. And to add insult to injury, the fuel consumption is comparable to larger petrol engines. Getting below 10 liters per 100 kilometers in a combined cycle is a success. It's a shame, because otherwise the Volvo XC60 has potential. The steering is precise, the suspension is good, and the sound insulation, although not as good as in the Velar, is still decent. It also offers better visibility and better calibrated driver assistance systems. Although both SUVs have all-wheel drive, comparing them is putting the boot in. The Velar has an advanced terrain response system with an active rear diff lock. Even in automatic mode, the Range Rover will go further than Volvo in off-road mode. Because the XC60 does have an off-road mode, but it's more of a help me up a slippery driveway solution than traversing the wilderness kind of stuff. Not that your average Velar buyer is going to traverse anything more challenging than a protruding manhole cover. Sometimes you ask me for a nighttime headlight demo. I've got mixed feelings because, in my opinion, the camera doesn't pick up everything I can see with my eyes. I'm on the same stretch of the same road at about the same time, in the same weather and similar traffic. What are we looking at? In the Range Rover, the adaptive headlights seem to work more fluidly, seamlessly than in the Volvo, in which the adaptive beams are more choppy. However, as far as I can tell, they light the road about the same. Audi, BMW or Mercedes can have better headlights, but it all depends on the model and options you select. On the other end of the spectrum, I'd say the Volvo is closest to Volkswagen, and the cheaper the car, the worse the headlights. And I don't expect any other outcomes, as this is what sets more expensive cars from the cheaper ones. Prices of the refreshed Range Rover Velar start at €72,200. This test example with options costs €111,530. Prices for the second facelift Volvo XC60 start at €57,000. This test car, with options, costs €75,826. Range Rover Velar is a car you buy for the badge because chances that your average buyer will ever use its off-road abilities are slim to none. However, knowing what it's capable of is an advantage which you have to pay for dearly. And this makes it not just a premium car, but a luxury car, a true luxury car. I also understand why the Volvo XC60 is the best-selling model in the history of the Swedish brand. It answers the needs of the Joneses who want more from life than a Toyota RAV4 or a Skoda Kodiaq. But do you want to be just like the Joneses? And which one of these SUVs is more up your alley? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.